On Saturday?
Man, we got the win. Most important, it felt good to be back out there. Words can't put in how long the journey felt, being away. But I'm grateful that moment came, and it's something I cherish. And I appreciate my teammates, my coaches for still believing in me and letting me do what I do.
That first tackle, was that kind of the moment? It's like, okay, I'm finally kind of back in the role.
Yeah, no, I needed that. I needed that for me personally, man. It was just, I feel like that was a lot of hard work that I put into, and just being able to have that moment again and feeling that adrenaline rush again, man, it speaks volume. It speaks volume.
Did it feel natural?
Yeah, oh yeah, most definitely getting back. I felt good. I was prepared. I was ready for the moment.
Gentry, not just getting back out on the field, but I think you played twice as many snaps Saturday as you did last season. How good does that feel after everything you've been through?
Feels great, to be able to build on something. That's my starting point from now on, to just continue to do the steps that I did to, perform on Saturday. I think I had a great week of preparation beforehand, and I got to do an even better job because every week is going to get harder, with each opponent.
The physicality of Michigan, is that something you guys are prepping pretty hard for this week?
Yeah, Michigan, they got a championship culture, 2 years removed from being in the college football playoff. They know what it takes. They're a physical team. That's kind of what the Big Ten is based on. So we're preparing for that. We know what the challenge has ahead of us. But great week of preparation will get us ready.
What kind of stands out about Bryce Underwood so far? A little bit you got to see about
him. Bigger dude, great arm. I think he showed a lot of, great flashes of what he could be, for that team across the future. I think they did a lot of good things with their offenses and everything. And, I think they got, a bright future with him.
You guys always, Brent Venables' defense always is complicated, throws a bunch of looks and can confuse even veteran quarterbacks. Does the thought of playing a true freshman, does that give you some hope that you can confuse him and sort of disorient him a little bit?
I would say, you just got to see it as, you playing Michigan as a whole. That's a good program they got going on. So if that's the best quarterback they got there to go out there, then he's going to be prepared. He's going to be prepared like a senior. So we got to prepare like, he's a Super Bowl quarterback, and that's what we're going to do every single day.
Speaking of, it kind of seems like Portland's kind of the same way for you guys, prepared as a freshman. How awesome was it to see him on Saturday?
Man, Ford's been amazing. It speaks levels to his preparation, how he's came in, he's prepared. He wants to get better. He takes every detail and he's wide open. He listens, man. I'm so proud of him and everything he's doing. And not just him, Day-Day, Jordan, Jeremiah Newcomb, they got in there and they played meaningful snaps and did great as well. So I'm proud of everybody.
What's the energy like in the locker room, knowing how big of a game this is this early in the season?
Obviously we got to take it week by week, prepare. We understand what's at stake, but we understand what's at stake every week when you're at OU. Every team's you're gonna get everybody's best shot. We got Illinois State's best shot, and we're gonna get Michigan's best shot. So we got to prepare the exact same.
It would seem like John Mateer's personality is that he seeks out playing in games like this. Is it give you confidence as a defensive guy? Like, if you guys go out and make a big stop, that he has a pretty good chance of making good on it, especially after throwing for 400.
Most definitely. He came out there, he balled out, that we're proud of him. We thankful for having an offense like that. But, if John, he speaks highly of the offense, he's getting them ready. We're going to get our defense ready to go. We're going to need everybody for all 4 quarters.
SEC, Big Ten developed quite the rivalry,
yes,
taking
sir.
over college football. You see this as an SEC Big Ten showdown? Want to
Most
fly
definitely.
the SEC flag?
Most definitely, it's going to be a physical game. We know what the Big Ten brings, and they know what the SEC brings. We're going to get ready. We're going to prepare hard, but everything's going to come out on Saturday.
How much more prepared is this defense this year than maybe in the last couple of years to play against play in a matchup like this?
I would say just overall, we've been playing together for so long. Like, you see Kobie making plays, you see R. Mason making plays, you see RJ making plays, you see Kip Lewis, 4-year guys who've been playing together to understand the system at a high level. Every year we got to break it down back to the studs, but people are understanding and picking up that information at a faster level, and that's helping us. We're playing fast, we're communicating, and that's got to get better each week. But just the baseline of that, I felt like, was at a higher level this year. But we got to continue to get better.
The depth part of that too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All that helps. The young guys, they're hungry, man. Like, you look at a dude like Jayden Jackson, he was ready to go the day he got here. David Stone getting better. Shoot, list goes on. Marcus Strong, D lineman. Edge rush. I think Taylor Warren got his first sack. So everybody's prepared. We just got to continue to build off of that.
You talked about just how long you guys have been here and brought up names from the 22 class. Can you kind of expound on that 22 class and what it's meant just as far as leadership goes on this team?
Everything, you know, we've seen the best, we've seen the lows, and just to continue to get better. You know, put your head down, just work. Everything will work out. We just continue to work, and I think that's been our mindset. And you're seeing like dudes like Kobie McKinzie, who's been through the lows, but now he's starting to step up and he knows the defense like the back of his hand. Kip Lewis making plays all over the field. Owen Heineke, who's been here from the beginning. RJ, like I said, and even Peyton Bowen. I feel like he's stepping up, playing his best ball right now. So just people that have been here and understand the struggles that we've been going to, and understand what it takes to play at a high level.
What's it been like having a guy as big as Kendal Daniels kind of roaming around back there with you guys?
And a lot like him. But, you know, me and Kendal, we go way back. You know, me and him actually took our first visit to OU together. So just having this moment of playing together and seeing him ball out, you know, it was a dream for us at a point in time, and to seeing us living out this reality, man, I couldn't be more happy days on our side now.
That's a big cheetah.
Big everything.
do you see him as kind of that perfect fit for the cheetah with, you know, the Isaiah Simmons, Roy Williams type body fits?
I think however we're using him has been perfect. You know, I think he's physical, he can cover, he's doing everything at a high level, and he's taking the information that Coach V's giving him and applying it to the field early. You know, you don't see a lot of transfers be able to take that information and play at a high level, and he's doing that, man. I'm proud of him.
How much does he help going against a team like Michigan that's known for being physical?
Yeah, man, he helps, man. Definitely. You know, he's physical, he's big, he understands what it's going to take. You know, he's played in big games before, so I think having Kendal, and you can't go wrong with him on the field.
Old guys like me are fired up that Michigan's coming here for the first time. Does it matter to you guys that it's such an historic game?
You know, I think as you get closer to the game, you let it build up. But we got so much preparation and work to put into this game that, you know, you're so dialed in, man. You know, stuff like that's for you to enjoy. You know, we'll enjoy it, you know, afterwards the game. But we're excited. You know, it's going to be a great matchup, and we're grateful that we're on this stage.
When you have a guy like Cortland, do you say anything to him about avoiding the hype of all this and game day being in town? Or?
Man, he's so locked in. You know, he knows what it takes. You know, I'm gonna give him a little talks here and there, but man, he's so dialed in. He knows what it takes. He's understanding, man. It's not a lot of freshmen like him who's doing that at a high level.
Do you at least like their helmets? They got great helmets. They've had great helmets for 80 years.
If you say they got great helmets, they got great helmets. Then.
I think you worry about what's in the helmet.
All right, we good?
Appreciate it. Game, how do you think you did?
Good, man. It was good. It was exciting to get out there, perform in front of the fans, obviously. It was really exciting, joyful to say the least.
What kind of difference is it, though, stepping from that to facing Michigan this week?
Yeah, I mean, every opponent is different, obviously, but every game's important. It's going to be really exciting. There's going to be a lot of people here. You know, I was thinking about the game last night watching Miami, Notre Dame, and I was just getting chills thinking about this game, and the atmosphere is going to be here this weekend. So it's going to be really exciting, man. I'm excited for the week to get here.
You know a lot about the Michigan tradition and all, you know, one of the bigger names in college football history.
Sure, I don't honestly, but you know they've talked about it a little bit, and I'm sure it'll go on as the week goes on. But I don't. You know, obviously they're built up on physicality and etc. But I don't know much about Michigan, though.
What's the biggest thing you're trying to work on heading into that game?
Yeah, man, communication for the defense. We did really good Saturday, but we could have tightened up on some things. Excluding a couple big plays that happened, we played really good. So you know, if we can eliminate that this weekend, I think we'll give ourselves a chance.
Is the communication piece something that can only be worked out from like game 1 to game 2? Hard to simulate that kind of noise truly, like in practice, like that kind of thing that you're communicating through.
And you know, it's not a rocket science communication. You know, it's little things, very little, and the littlest things have the biggest consequences, obviously. So we just got to continue to clean up little things, and I think we'll be great.
Freshman quarterback, true freshman coming in. You guys got a lot of exotic stuff dialed up for him. You think it'd be pretty tough on a true freshman?
Yeah, you know, I watched a little bit of their game Saturday night, and he looks good. He doesn't look like a freshman. You know, he looked very composed. He let the game come to him, so we're definitely gonna have to get after him a little bit. But he looked comfortable back there.
What stands out about their running game from what you watched?
Yeah, they want to run the ball downhill, and I love it. Me personally, I really do. I feel like that's where I propel in my game. So, man, I couldn't be more excited, to be honest with you. I'm looking forward to the challenge. So, can't wait for Saturday to be here.
Big Ten and SEC have developed a big rivalry in college football. Do you find yourself involved in that? I mean, is that part of your motivation to uphold SEC honor?
Yeah, man, I want to uphold the Oklahoma honor. Man, with everything in me, I really do. You know, like I said, these are two blue blood teams, and I think I saw something that they've only played each other one other time. So, you know, to be a part of something like that is going to be historic. It's going to be exciting, to say the least. I can't wait to hear the Palace booming, to be honest, man.
Kobie, last year, Justice Haynes, Michigan's running back, he was at Alabama, got some run against you guys. Just what do you remember about him, and what stands out about him on tape? Yeah,
he has big playability for sure. And from what I remember, he was very patient. So, you know, we got to be very gap sound. I watched a lot of their games. I went back and watched a little bit of him at Alabama, not necessarily when he played us. But, you know, just get some tape on him. I just wanted to see how he was with the ball in his hand. So, yeah, he's a good player.
Oklahoma State went 1 for 11 on third down conversions. What does that say about you guys as a unit able to get off the field consistently, repeatedly, and effectively?
Yeah, it was good, man. Obviously, we weren't at our best there last year, so that was a key thing that we worked on this offseason, a lot of fall camp. So, you know, that was big for us to go and do. You know, we just got to build on that.
I know the goal is always prepare for everybody the same, but what is having a big-time marquee game like this early in the season? What's it for you guys, like through camp, through these first 2 weeks, as far as intensity, focus, all that kind of stuff?
Right. The intensity isn't going to change. You know, we are who we are. You can't change your punch on game day. So, you know, you got to be who you are. And most importantly, man, I know that everybody in that building that we're with right now on the defensive side of the ball couldn't be more excited for the challenge. You know, I know that for a fact.
Kind of talk about just what last Saturday meant to you, because you've had you've been at Oklahoma, now for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Just what did it mean to walk out there, starter, just being the guy at inside backer now, and from where you came?
Yeah, man, it means a lot. You know, it's just a testament to never get astray of course, to be honest with you. You know, I couldn't be more thankful for the people that I have in my circle. It was not easy at all, but in today's society, it's so easy to leave and go and try to do something differently. You know, I love this place. I genuinely do. I don't hoop and holler a lot, but deep down, you know, I really do care about the University of Oklahoma, and this is where I wanted to be. I wanted to have somewhere to bring my family and my children back to one day. So, you know, just stay in the course, and I knew this is what I ultimately wanted.
I would imagine students probably coming up to you saying, you know, things about the game. What's that like going through that?
It is pretty crazy. It is still surreal to me, you know, but just locking in, just doing my business, the little things, you know, if that's waking up to make my bed, you know, the little things really do matter, and I feel like that's going to carry on to practice, which carries on to the game day. So I think that will really.
Do you learn anything from that a year ago, just going through, you know, preparing for bigger games, maybe preparing that Alabama week?
Yeah, I learned, you know, I'm going to get Bama, whatever say, or the best game. I'm going to get the best game every single week, and that's how I got to prepare myself physically and mentally. You know, I'm getting the best out of the teams that we face every single time.
Jayden, I'm sure it's tough while you're in the game worrying about yourself, but what did you think of David on Saturday? It seemed like he was really disruptive.
Oh, yeah, he's very disruptive, man. He's been grinding. You know, that dude's been grinding. A bunch of our guys in our room been grinding. They all got their heads down, and they're willing to work. And you saw from Saturday, you know, a bunch of guys came in and did what they needed to do. So,
what do you think of the defense overall against Illinois State and just that performance?
We did really well executing, just doing our job. You know, I keep going back to the little things because that's what we preach on the defense, and we saw it out there. You know, guys just doing their job and doing the little things that, you know, helped out overall. So
when you guys, you know, you go to the sideline, you're not watching, you know, what the other defense is doing, but is there a little bit of a pride factor in this if people, you know, are going to compare your defensive line to their defensive line as two of the better ones in the country? You kind of want to win that matchup just on television almost?
Yeah, I think, you know, our whole group wants to be, you know, needs to be actually the number one. So that's what we're striving, you know. We don't really look at the charts and whatever, but it's definitely a factor. Like, you know, it puts us in a place where we need to work harder every single time. So,
just in preparation so far, what have you seen from their dual threat abilities? I mean, with Haynes being a good running back, Underwood can run as a quarterback. What kind of challenge do you feel like that is?
You know, it's a pretty big challenge, man. Any defense they would face, particularly, we're just gonna expect, you know, like you said, that running mindset from anyone with that touch of the ball. So definitely be big challenge.
You guys on the whole were pretty good against the run on Saturday. I think Illinois State wound up with 4 chunk gains, though. What do you think you guys have to do? I know it's little things like you said, but what do you got to do to eliminate those chunk gains?
You know, a lot of guys, sometimes even me, are just trying to make plays. So that means if we're getting out of our gaps, you know, not doing our job, that can open holes and stuff. So just like I said, guys doing their jobs is what we need to do to eliminate those chunk plays. So.
On that other side, secondary only allowed 34 passing yards. How good was it to see those guys perform the way they did on Saturday?
It was amazing, especially Cortland, man. I was definitely, you know, hearing his name. I wasn't particularly watching back there, but hearing his name, seeing the things he did, and just young guys stepping up and seeing Gentry for the first time coming out there over there. But I've never played with him, so it was good seeing him too. So just knowing that I could trust my back seven was really great.
I'm sorry. Was it kind of uplifting to the team for John Mateer to go out and play the way he did? You know, almost 400 yards passing. I mean, it's been a while since we've seen that around here.
Yeah, it was amazing, man. It was definitely amazing. Just someone you can put your trust into. I 100% trust him with everything, and nothing's new. I'm not gonna lie to you. He's been doing that first day since he got on campus. He's been the same guy, balling, mindset, everything. So, you know, nothing was new. It was good to see it in game day.
How much does that help you guys get locked in? Because I know, you know, coaches talk all the time about, you know, being complementary offense and defense and special teams. But how much is that now kind of a foundation for you guys to lock in there and be a better team that plays off of each other?
It makes us the most locked in. That's the number one guy on our team. Like, has to be your quarterback. That's our number one leader, and you know, we can finally trust him and the decisions he makes, the things he does. It benefits everyone. So, yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah, it was good to get in the Palace and play again and play on this side of the. Last time I was in here, I was in a different color, so it felt good to be red.
Looking forward to Michigan.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm looking forward to every week. There's gonna be a big game and it's gonna be fun, and everybody has high expectations for both teams. So it'll be fun to go out there and play against a really great team.
What have you seen about them? What's tape told you about Michigan?
They're really sound defense, and they got a really good offense running game, and they got a really good young quarterback that's really good. He was the number one recruit, so he's gonna come in here and he's gonna show flashes, and he's a really good guy. And you know, their coach, he's a really cool dude, and you know, they want to run the ball, and you know, so it'll be a fun game on a grass field.
What'd you say to the running back, Justice Haynes?
He's a really good running back. You know, he's well balanced. He isn't just one-sided like a power back. He can get outside, and he can break a long one.
Kendal, how hard is it to prepare for a young quarterback like Bryce that maybe hasn't played? I mean, he's only played one game, but what tape are you watching of him to kind of get ready?
I mean, I just listen to Coach what he wants me to watch, and then I go watch it. You know, last game. You know, it's just one game, and they probably didn't run a lot of their stuff. So it's I wouldn't say it was hard. It's just, you know, offense going to run what offense going to run, and their DNA, they're always going to go back to their DNA no matter who they got. So I'll just take that into the aspect.
College football's become a big SEC, Big Ten rivalry. Do you feel any of that in this game?
No.
You know?
No, I don't.
First game playing the cheetah position for you. How do you feel like that? Was that everything you expected to be?
Yeah, it was fun to be back out there and play a little bit. It felt like I was playing safety again, so it was fun and get out there and get my feet, you know, in the ground and actually get down and play football against somebody else other than John Mateer.
What did you think of the defense's performance overall against Illinois State?
We started off slow, you know, but we picked it up, and that's always just because, you know, first game jitters, everybody playing in front of a crowd, and it's not an empty stadium, so it was. I feel like we did okay. We got a lot to improve on.
What do you think of how packed the stadium might be against Michigan, college game day, all that environment?
It'll be loud. You know, I feel like the last game was very loud, and I played in a lot of big games, so it'll play an aspect of trying to keep the crowd into it. You know, try to create energy. That'd be real.
You said you guys have a lot to fix, but specifically with the run game, what do you feel are the areas you guys need to work on after that game?
Communication. You know, I was it was some of the plays was on me. You know, I take blame for that just because communication and alignment and assignment is big here. So I just feel like if we get aligned better and communicate better, then we'll be just okay.
Does Venables have a bunch of exotic stuff lined up for a freshman quarterback? It looked like, it seemed like, George asked you about how difficult it is to prepare for him. It seemed like it'd be worse the other way, him trying to prepare for you.
I feel like everything we do is exotic. I feel like fall camp was so exotic, everything. I've never installed so many plays in my career, so I feel like our defense is exotic. I don't feel like Coach Venables is putting in anything special just for this week.
Is that fun when you have a lot of different looks?
Yes. Yeah, it's fun, and it got hard at one point trying to learn 3 positions. So it was, but it's fun being under him.
Talked about not having to go against John. Was it kind of nice to see the offense work against someone else?
Yeah, I was catching myself look up at the screens while Coach was talking to me. I had to snap back into it and get the checks that were going in on defense, and just seeing him play and all the offensive guys and see how good they're going to be is real fun.
Michigan coach Ron Moore even called John. He called him electric, a gunslinger. What do you think of that? Does that align with your thoughts of John?
Hell yeah. Yeah, that's him.
You a big college football fan in general, growing up, or even now?
I am now. I mean, I wasn't when I was growing up.
Like the mystique of Michigan. I mean, Michigan's a traditional power, great uniform, great fight song, all that kind of stuff. Did you know anything about that? And do you care now?
Growing up, I watched it. I would watch it, but I really wanted to play basketball growing up, so I didn't really watch a ton of, football. I watched a lot of SEC because LSU and Alabama always won, so I watched a lot of that. So, but now I watch, football. I try to get into football and get my mind off just our games and try to watch some football on Saturdays.
You've talked a lot about just how much it means to play for Venables and how much you've learned from him. Did you learn anything new about him just on a game day, and what's he like in a game?
Yeah. I was always trying to figure out what he would be like on game day because every coach is different. You can get, like I had coaches that's super amped up during the week and then on game day they're calm or the opposite. So I feel like he was exactly who I thought he was going to be, just a cool, calm, collected type of guy.
So he's not as amped up during a game than he is maybe in practice?
No, I wouldn't say that. I feel like, definitely not in practice when I mess up, and then the game when I mess up are two different things. So I feel like he's harder on us during the week, so on game day, it should already be done.
What Coach Goodwin, what was it like getting into a game with him?
Oh, it was fun. Coach Goodwin is my guy. He came in and we had to gel together. He came in quiet, but now he'll make jokes every now and then, and he has coached some great guys at the cheetah position. And defenses, the Clemson defense was really good, and so just being around him and then picking his brain, and me and him talk to each other all the time, and he teaching me how to play different coverages and play with my alignment and everything. It helped me blitz better.
What was just overall the takeaway from Saturday, especially on the offensive line?
I'm proud of those guys. A lot to get better at. Job's not finished, but winning is never easy, especially against a good team like that. I was proud of those guys.
How was it moving over to the left side after starting at right all last year?
It was a little weird. I think I'm starting to get down more. I've been working on it. I've been trying to get some more reps at it. Next time I'm at that position, I'm going to make sure I'm ready,
So we heard that you were the most consistent offensive lineman through camp and all of that. Where have you seen yourself improve the most maybe since last year?
First, I think one thing that's really helped me is my faith. Getting closer to God has helped me work a lot harder. My leadership also helped because now I'm trying to step up and, be an example for those guys and show them the right thing to do. I think all that. And then also the competitiveness in the room. We have a lot of good players, and that just makes me want to be better. So, guys like Troy, Derek, Eddie, Mike, Ryan, even the young guys are stepping up, Daniel. All of that just makes me want to play better and be the better version of myself.
How about physically? Because we've heard you also kind of crushed it in the weight room.
Yes, sir. I'm a workout guy. I love to be in there. I really wanted to get my body, and peak position. What is the word? I can't remember the word. Peak physical condition. I'm sorry. Peak physical condition. So, me and Smitty, we were really hitting it hard. I was getting extra, just trying to find any type of edge, and obviously your body, your body's your business, especially in this sport. So, just trying to get my body to the peak it can be. And, I'm still out there. Still a lot of work to be done, and I'm very excited for it.
Febechi, Jake was telling us that you guys still had a lot to improve on, especially in the run game.
100%.
What specifically did you see from Saturday you guys can learn from there?
You know, there's a lot of things. You know, communication could be better, 100%. You know, I think individually, like for me, you know, I can be more of a leader out there on the field. You know, I can, you know, try to encourage guys and you know, get things going a little bit more. You know, try to be a spark for the offense. That's one thing I see.
You mentioned some of the young guys in that room. How important was Saturday for Ryan, Eddie, a couple of those young guys?
That's so important. You know, getting out there and getting a chance to be out there, you know, in front of the fans. You know, sometimes it's a little nerve-wracking. I know my first time out here, looking around at all these fans, all the amazing fans, it was a little nerve-wracking. You know, I don't want to let nobody down. But now, you know, when you get that first game, you start to understand, okay, this is the environment. This is what it's going to be like. This is how I need to proceed. This is how I need to prepare. And I think, you know, playing your first game really shows you, you know, what you're going to be on the field, you know, and where you need to improve at.
You just talked about the environment against Illinois State. I mean, Michigan will be even more fans. I mean, not only is it Michigan a big opponent, but it's college game day too. What do you think of all that?
Man, I'm excited for the opportunity. You know, I do as a kid. You know, I dreamed to be on the big screen on college game days. You know, with all the yellow hats. You know, I'm sorry, all the yellow hats, and you know, I'm just thank God for the opportunity, and I'm ready.
What are you seeing on Michigan's front, the tape you've looked at?
You know, they're a physical team. You know, they are who they say they are. You know, they're going to bring it, and we have to bring what we can do. You know what I'm saying? We have to bring it every play. You know, physicality. You know, they're a physical team, and it's going to be a fun game.
Thanks. Physicality. What did you learn from all the SEC defensive lines you played last year, as far as like the next level you personally had to take to be prepared for a line like Michigan?
You know, SEC, Big Ten, those are the most physical leagues. You know. You have to be ready to come off the ball every play, every snap. You know, you got to make sure you have all your techniques right, your pad level right. You have to make sure your body's in good condition, because if not, those guys are too good to not be at your, you know, peak performance. You know, you're gonna lose if you're not.
How do you think a young guy like Ryan Foje did this past Saturday?
You know, he did good, especially for it being his first game. You know, he's a young guy, true freshman. I'm extremely proud of him, but then again, there's a lot of work to be done. You know, it's just the starting point for him. I'm really excited for his future.
You mentioned the SEC and the Big Ten. They've got quite the rivalry. They've sort of taken over college football. Are you playing for SEC honor? Is that part of the deal Saturday night?
I would say I'm playing more for Oklahoma honor. You know, I'm playing for the school. I love this school, the way everybody's taking me in. So I'm playing for the fans and my coaches and my teammates. So,
what's one thing you're looking to improve on just individually heading into Saturday?
One thing I want to improve on individually is just my overall consistency. I know that I was consistent, but, you know, constant improvement. I want to be consistent in everything I do, you know, and my improvement every day, my leadership, my energy, everything. I wanted to be consistent all around.
What's it been like playing with John Mateer so far?
He's fun. You know, he brings a lot of energy. You know, he brings a lot of spark. You know, in the locker room, great guy to talk to, buddy. Like, you can joke around with him. On the field, incredible leader. You know, he's going to take charge of the offense, and yeah, he's a great guy.
How much better is just the overall vibe of this offense this year versus maybe last year?
You know, it's a lot better, because I think that guys are starting to understand, you know, where they are and where they need to go. And, you know, you can see improvement. You know, obviously we had some guys stay from last year, and those improvements that guys are making is giving them more confidence, you know. And I feel like we're a lot more confident team in what we're doing and what we're trying to accomplish.
Do you feel like the run game, obviously you had your ups and downs on Saturday, are you guys close, or when you look at the film, did you see some things that were easily fixed?
Yeah, you know, there's 100% things that can be easily fixed. Close, I don't think anybody's close to anything, you know. Obviously, we're starting for perfection. So, and if you reach perfection, what's the point of starting for perfection, you know? That's the point. You want to keep trying to get better. There's always something you can do. There's always some type of improvement that can be made. So,
thank you for
appreciate it, man.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Making process to come in.
What's it been like working with Bill Bedenbaugh so far?
Oh, he's great. I mean, he knows everything. You know, he's a great coach. You know, been awesome.
What about John? What have you seen from him the past couple of weeks leading up to the opener? What do you think of his game?
He's a really fun guy to play with. You know, always bringing juice. You know, getting me fired up, getting the guys fired up. So yeah, really good dude. Really, you know, talented player, obviously. So excited to get to play with him.
I feel like it's the biggest thing you guys have to work on as a position group, getting ready for Michigan.
I mean, I'd say, you know, run blocking was something kind of overall on film we had to work on based on the first game. So, you know, just coming out, playing really physical, you know, dominating the line of scrimmage is something we need to focus on.
Was there something specific in the run game that maybe wasn't clicking for you guys?
I mean, I'd just say, yeah, like I said, you know, just need to play physical, you know, low pad level, come off the ball, you know, move guys.
It seemed like when Torrey got in there late in the game, you guys found a rhythm there. What did you see from him?
Yeah, I mean, you know, he's very talented, you know, played great, so that was, yeah, exciting to see.
You just got here, of course, not long ago, but SEC and Big Ten have sort of taken over college football. Have a big rivalry. You guys involved in that in any? I mean, you look at this as an SEC Big Ten showdown. You need to uphold conference honor.
I mean, yeah, in a way. I mean, that's definitely a thing. But just for us, go out there, always trying to win, and do the best, represent OU.
Does the matchup excite you? I mean, college game day should be a great atmosphere.
I mean, yeah, definitely excited. I mean, we expect the atmosphere here to be, really impressive, really exciting. So, really looking forward to getting out there and playing in that atmosphere.
What was it like just getting called into the game there and having the success that you all had, as the offensive line, pass blocking and things like that?
Yeah, definitely exciting. Stay ready, just try to contribute in any way you can. So, yeah, really exciting to get in. Playing in an atmosphere like this, something I wasn't super used to. So that was really cool. Really great to see, all the fans come out and represent, and really exciting.